Okay, so Kurt, welcome to the Founders Speak Unplugged podcast,
Thank you very
which
much.
is an absolutely new format that the Founders Speak stage has created for the very first time in its history globally, and it's happening right here at the Nordic FinTech Week.
Yes.
We're delighted you're but only our second founder,
Oh, okay.
and which means that this is all new for us too,
Yes.
as much as it is for you. So we're going to do this very simple, nice and easy. The idea is for you to tell us first, in 30 seconds, a little bit about Partisia and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Yes, I'm Kurt Nielsen. I'm a co-founder of Partisia. Partisia was founded like 15 years ago, in fact, and it's become more like a platform for a number of innovative stuff. It's based on a lot of advanced cryptography and economics that is mixed together, and that's kind of it's been the foundation for doing a number of interesting separate spin out and projects along the way of doing these 15 years.
So is this incubated inside of a university?
It was a spin out from Aarhus University.
Yeah.
Aarhus University, there's a very famous group of cryptographers, a world famous group who's been working and even established the type of cryptography that we are commercializing. Stuff like multi-party computation and even the hash function in the blockchain systems and so on.
Okay, so now you're making me realize how unintelligent I am. So let me move to, before we jump into all of this, tell us one thing that very few people know about you.
So very few people. That's a good question. Maybe I actually started out as a farmer. I was supposed to be a farmer, take over the family farm, but now I ended up being running an
Amazing.
IT high-end high-tech company.
Amazing.
Bit of a turn.
Interesting. Okay, so Kurt, let's dive into the meat of our podcast today. The intention for us at the Founders Speak is to be able to use your experience as a founder
Yes.
to bring out some things that you learned along the way that didn't work out the way you thought they would. And one thing that really surprised you with its success and with its adoption in the market. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
Towards the end, I'm going to also do a rapid fire round of questions, which are all hidden under these cards. And that's going to be fun. So let's start with, tell us lesson number one that you believe is likely to be something which is going to be very valuable for entrepreneurs to learn from your journey. Something that you thought was going right, was moving in the right direction, but ultimately didn't. And what did you learn from it?
Good question. So what we are doing is a very sort of generic technology that can be used almost anywhere. So we had to pick and choose. It was also not completely mature when we started. So we needed to find a way around this. We sort of draw a picture from the beginning about this future and what it could do. More or less a picture that we are using again today. But today it's more a realistic picture. Back then, we thought it was realistic, but it was not. There was no sort of investors buying into this. So we had to find our niches. And we started up a couple of separate companies that was focusing on building energy auction and building something called key management. And these two companies, it was a good example of something that went good and also went bad. So both of these projects kind of ended up with good products, but one of them just never took off and just kept it alive and maybe for too long. And the other one was also having problems at some point, but then all of a sudden we found that niche where that fitted in and it took off, and that was a really successful exit a couple of years ago. So things that is starting out, they look a bit similar. The potential is equally big in these two, but it just turns out to be very different journeys along the way.
So how do you decide that it is time now to not pursue something in the direction that it was moving? It could be a pivot that you do,
Yes.
or it could be, no, this is not working, it's time to close it down. How do you decide that?
Yes. So the funding sort of decides on whether you need to wind things down a bit, and then you're sort of looking for opportunities, and whether these opportunities appear is basically the trigger that either you shut it all down or you move to a different place.
Right.
And that was an event, sort of almost a black swan event on one of these projects that turned out to be the whole blockchain ecosystem that needed this technology, and we didn't realize that. It was kind of a custody solution for crypto assets. So we were the first one doing that, and that was the saving sort of application for that project that was successful and ended up with an exit. And now this technology is actually the technology that is used for custody of all crypto assets around the globe.
That's amazing.
But it came about very sort of out of the blue.
Serendipitously, yeah. So many founders that we speak with very often tell us the power and the influence of luck.
Yes.
Where something they were totally unprepared for it to happen happened.
Yes.
And then either disaster struck, some regulation changed, some funding dried up, or excessive success happened, which was something which was totally unplanned for.
Yes.
In your assessment, how does preparedness meet luck? They always say that you have to be prepared for luck to arrive.
I was just about to say exactly that. Because I think, everyone is working very hard when they run a startup, so they try all kind of things. But maybe the differentiator is luck is one thing, but the other thing is also to be open for these changes. But they might actually, you might actually need to kill your darling that used to be your darling, because there was a new opportunity that seems to be the right one. So there are some tough decisions to be made, but I guess if you're prepared to sort of look for these opportunities and just say, okay, this is might be our luck.
I've been an entrepreneur myself, and I've dealt with this great difficulty at different points in time in the journey to pivot or to wind down something that I really felt was the right thing that the world needed, but I have either not been able to market it well, or customers are thinking it's a little bit too early for them to take it, or I think the price is too out. These are very important and very difficult decisions.
Absolutely.
What is your learning about taking these decisions? You're saying that it's a difficult decision. How did you go about taking a decision like that?
So I never done a startup on my own. It's always been among a group of co-founders.
Yes.
And I think that's important, that you don't sit there with the whole truth. You need to have partners that can address your weak spots and people that you can discuss these.
I see. So you're saying there is a group of people who you believe collectively are able to take a better decision than any one individual singly.
Absolutely.
And that could well be you, who's singly not confident of taking a decision of that nature.
No. You need people that can challenge you along the way. It might be super annoying from time to time, but it's kind of what brings you forward.
I agree with super annoying. Okay, that's fantastic. So let's jump into our rapid fire round.
All right.
So you're ready for it? Okay, so can you point a finger to one set of cards?
Take
this
the
one.
Shark Tank.
Okay. So I'm going to read out this question. Okay. So if Partisia, your startup, had a theme song.
A theme song? Wow.
What would it be?
The theme song, that would be something with Daft Punk, I think.
Okay, which one?
There is one called Daft Punk, isn't it? Like one of the original songs. I'm not sure.
Okay. Can you sing it for us?
No, that would not be possible.
Okay, that's good. So Daft Punk we got. Which other stack would you like to go for? This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Pepsi.
So let's ask this. Okay, so this is trivia. Okay. Which startup failed in 2018 after raising over $1 billion?
WeWork, I don't know.
Okay, so it was in the business of something to do with health.
With health?
Yes, it was something
okay,
to do
okay.
with.
So that was, of course, the blood testing.
That is correct.
What are
Tyrannos.
Tyrannos? Yes. Of
Okay,
course.
so you got these two stacks left. Which one would you go for?
What if?
What if?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. What if you had to permanently relocate your startup to another country? Where would you go?
Very interesting question. Because take a little bit of a pause here. Because right now, we actually have a lot of success in Japan.
Okay.
We also worked in the US, and there's something about Asia and US where you just have more risky capital, and for a startup like us, we need risky capital.
Yeah.
And but we also like to solve the problem that comes from the EU and
The regulations.
the regulation in the EU, the approach to maybe protecting the individuals to a larger extent, also by better digital solutions. So I'm actually a little bit unsure. The quick question, and we actually did that with one of the startups, moving this part of that to the US to tap into the
Capital
funding
availability,
the
yeah.
capital availability in the US.
Yeah.
That means that you move all marketing and the top management to the US, and you could have your development in
Okay, so the US it is then.
US it
Okay,
is.
so this is our last
that was
question.
not a short answer. Sorry for that.
No, well, my next part was and why, so you answered the why. Okay. Would you rather be a first mover in a new market or a latecomer in a mature market?
The first one, 100%.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's where it's much more exciting, and I really like this you create something from scratch, something that was not there. You actually try to shape how the world works and how to
Spoken like a true entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Kurt, thank you so much for being with us on the podcast today. Pleasure and enjoy the rest of
My pleasure.
Nordic Fintech Week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.